You can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter.
The WNBA's got a problem, and her name is Sheryl Swoopes. She's taking shots at rookie sensation Caitlin Clark, and it's not pretty. But here's the twist. Clark's response is turning this drama into something nobody saw coming. You might think you know where this is going, but trust me, you don't. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. Remember the times when experienced individuals would mentor and counsel newcomers? No, not just now. Swoopes recently dropped a bombshell on Clark that has everyone talking. What really stuck with me was not what she said, but rather what she did after. The WNBA community was excitedly awaiting Caitlin Clark's professional debut, but instead of receiving a friendly greeting from Sheryl Swoopes, she met an unexpected foe. The 4-time WNBA champion and 3-time most valuable player made the decision to publicly humiliate the rising star. Swoopes dealt the first blow when he said that Clark would need 5 seasons to break the NCAA scoring record. The best thing is that Clark only needed 4 tries to complete the task. It appeared as though Swoopes was playing a different game altogether. It wasn't just that either. She continued by pointing out that Clark had a stellar 50-shot shooting average during his college career. Any decent basketball fan would tell you that's just not true. Which one is it? 22 shots or so each game. You might be wondering, why would a legend like Swoopes get her facts so wrong? It's the question, after all, that everybody is asking. Was it just a simple mistake made by an innocent person? Either way, the response came quickly and with great force. After Swoopes made the comments, a lot of people in the basketball community and among fans quickly criticized her. Many defended Clark and questioned Swoopes' qualifications on the internet. I had the impression that I was watching a generational rivalry between the new and the old in women's basketball.
You can say whatever you want. You can have your own opinion about anybody, but you do have to get the statistics right. I mean, facts matter. Do your job. You get paid to do a job. As a broadcaster, do your job.
Not everyone, though, was ready to point fingers. Nancy Lieberman, during a Fever Wings game, on the mound, she did not merely defend Clark, rather, she gave her accolades. Supporting up-and-coming players like Clark, who are making progress in women's basketball, is essential, in Lieberman's opinion. People noticed how drastically different it was from Swoopes' viewpoint.
I've known Sheryl since she was in college. I helped do her shoe deal with Nike in 1993. And I was like, Sheryl, I'm not doing anything to hurt you. I'm just sharing. We're talking.
Even the notoriously opinionated Stephen A. Smith could not stay silent about this. He accused Swoopes of being crazy for not appreciating Clark's achievements. Smith confirmed what many had already surmised. Clark seemed to be the object of bigotry, but why is it the case? Why does it seem like a legend like Swoopes wants the rookie's blood? The entire incident set off a wider conversation about professionalism and respect in sports commentary. Giving fans constructive criticism is one thing, but misrepresenting and deceiving them is quite another. To make matters worse, Swoopes remained silent throughout broadcasts, showcasing Clark's successes. People started to question her intentions as a result and wonder what was truly going on behind the scenes. This was more than just one person making fun of another. It came to symbolize the challenges that women's basketball encounters as it grows and evolves. On one side are the well-known celebrities who had a crucial role in initiating the situation.
What I will clear up is that for whatever reason, there's this narrative that I hate Caitlin Clark. So for me, it's not just about talking about one player, it's about talking about all the players.
Conversely, there's this younger generation that's breaking records and dominating everything. Is it possible to bridge the distance? How can one honor the past while they are embracing the future? Everybody in the world of WNBA was anticipating what would come next. Then, out of the blue, Swoopes did something that took everyone by surprise. When it was a gesture that could have ended the conflict, why did it aggravate things? Sensing the heat from supporters and other notable figures in basketball, Swoopes made the decision to speak with Clark in private. She tried to patch things up with a private message. It was a letter of deep admiration. If what Swoopes wrote to Clark was any guide, it seemed like a reasonable decision, didn't it? A chance to focus on the sport they both love and forget about everything that has transpired. But this is when things really started to go wrong. In her graceful and poised response, Clark showed insight far above her years. There is absolutely no issue. There are no bad intentions, and I sincerely appreciate you contacting out, she reassured Swoopes. I sincerely appreciate your encouragement of young ladies like me and your support of women's basketball. It was the perfect opportunity to move past the situation and move forward. Instead of stopping there, Swoopes took an action that was incomprehensible to all. Her actions made their private conversation public. That's accurate, yes, the public hearing of a private discussion between two specialists.
If Kelsey Plum set that record in 4 years, well, Caitlin should have broke that record in 4 years. So she's already had an extra year to break that record. So is it truly a broken record? Yeah, that'll go in the record books as Caitlin Clark is the all-time, whatever it is. I don't even know what the number is.
The closest comparison is eating dinner with someone and then having your discussion broadcast throughout the country on television. The basketball world was stunned. The fans thought what they were witnessing was incredible. Quite the opposite of Clark's cool-headedness, Swoopes was behaving absolutely crazily. While Swoopes appeared petty and unprofessional, Clark came out unscathed. It was a terrible move. Stephen A. Smith plunged into the dispute as usual. He criticized Swoopes by saying, "There is no woman, no matter how great you were as a player, Sheryl Swoopes, there is no woman who should negate mentioning Caitlin Clark and what Caitlin Clark is doing for the game."
Haterade in the league in regards to Clark started with WNBA legend Sheryl Swoopes herself. She recently spoke on her podcast, Queens of the Court, and didn't mention the rookie when speaking. Do you realize that, Sheryl Swoopes, you're insane to do that?
Oh no, it's time to quit when Stephen A. Smith says you're being overly critical. There were immediate and disastrous repercussions. After Swoopes lost his status as a game legend, fans began labeling him as a Caitlin Clark hater. This type of tag sticks in people's memory, especially in the age of social media. Everything that was said or not mentioned during the broadcast about Clark's achievements was now being looked into in great detail. The statement, "You discuss whoever and whatever you want on your podcast," was an attempt by Swoopes to justify herself. Is that accurate? Then, if I choose to, what's the big deal? However, this did not work. Constructive criticism was not at all what Swoopes did. She used to be a well-liked analyst, but it appeared that she was holding a grudge against a child who had never even participated in a professional game.
You asked me about Caitlin. If you're going to break a record, to me, if it's legitimate, you have to break that record in the same amount of time that that player said it.
See more of her, and they're tuning in because they want to see what she's going to do. You're going to get to see so much more than that.
This whole episode raised serious questions about the caliber of professionalism in sports commentary. Is it possible to discriminate between direct assaults and helpful criticism? What effect does emotional condition have on public conversation? The most important question is what this means for the future of women's basketball. You thought Clark's composed response was impressive. Prepare yourself for an exciting trip as her next play changed the course of the game rather than just appeasing her critics. How did a quarrel turn into one rookie's career-defining moment? In handling the Swoopes predicament, Clark did more than just maintain his composure. It was an example of how to use lemons to make lemonade. While Swoopes was busy publishing personal writings, Clark was busy winning over admirers and breaking records. She performed exceptionally well during the ordeal, going above and above. For now, let's talk about numbers. Following his exclusion from the Olympics, Clark might have lost it. Instead, she had a 45% shooting percentage, 19.8 points, 5.8 rebounds, and 9.5 assists per contest. That's not just pleasant, that's extraordinary. Clark was expressing herself through the game. She wasn't just playing it. In actuality, though, Clark's impact goes far beyond the financial indicators. She now stands for something bigger. Racial concerns, visibility, and the evolution of women's basketball are the topics of discussion. It's not just about one player's success. Clark's ascent is changing the sport as a whole. Remind yourself of that. How long has women's basketball been the subject of such intense interest? Clark is blowing records in terms of viewership, not just breaking them. Her popularity is drawing in new fans who might not have otherwise given women's basketball a shot. However, other factors also important in addition to the numbers. Clark's perspective on women's basketball's potential is changing. She is talented, no doubt, but what really sets her apart is her attitude. Clark is showing that there is an alternative in a culture where drama and trash talk are normal. How is she coping with all this stress? One may wonder. I'm going to reveal some information, so pay attention. While others would have played the victim or taken revenge on Swoopes, Clark kept her head down and let her game speak for itself. That poise makes mediocre players become legendary figures. But wait a minute, the ascent of Clark has sparked a much needed conversation about women's sports. Why did Clark take so long to receive this much attention? Of all the players, he deserves it most. The ramifications for racial injustice and women's basketball marketing are fascinating. These are not easy questions to answer, but they must be asked. Clark's rise unsettles the establishment. Some seem in peril, like Swoop.
But I also think Angel Reese is an incredible player. I think Rakia Jackson's an incredible player. I don't hate her. I don't first of all, I hate some very harsh words.
Count Nancy Lieberman among those who are celebrating her win. It feels like we're watching a real-time changing of the guard, with Clark at its center. So, Clark, what comes next? The WNBA needs to be alert. Just imagine the extreme pressure she will be under to succeed once she walks onto the court. It looks like the Women's Basketball League is about to enter a golden period. Both on and off the court, Clark is unstoppable. She's rewriting the rules when it comes to handling haters. She's showing you that you can still win even if you choose not to clap back. Clark's cool-headed professionalism is a welcome diversion from the world of polarizing viewpoints and Twitter feud.